Okay, are we up?
We're live, Judge.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, July 18th, 2025. It's now 9 a.m. We're here for a special session of the Hunt County Commissioners Court. This time I'll call the meeting to order. We have Commissioner Hutchins, Monroe, Smith, and Harrison present. I'm Judge Stovall presiding over the meeting. This time we'll have public testimony. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and should conduct themselves in a civil manner. The Commissioners Court can not take action on items not listed on the agenda in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Concerns will be addressed by county staff. They may be placed on a future agenda or addressed by some other course of response. Anybody here wish to speak? I don't guess there's anybody online send anything in. All right, being none, I'll close the public testimony. No old business, new business. Action item 1, fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. Susan, if you want to come forward and talk to the commissioners and me about your request.
Sir. Good morning. How are y'all this morning?
Great.
Good.
I realize that the time has passed for requesting pay increases, promotions, and that sorts of things, but I thought I'd give this a try. My chief criminal deputy transferred to the district attorney's office in June, mid-June. And so what I'd like to do is promote 3 girls, basically. Move one into that chief criminal deputy position, and then move another girl to take on the responsibilities that that person is leaving. And the 3rd criminal clerk I have will take on new duties. She will attend court more as the court clerk. And so I would like to bump these girls up just a little bit to compensate them for the increased duties that they're going to have.
So they're promotions,
Yes, sir.
okay? Are those positions currently in your office
Yes, sir.
that you're promoting them to?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you're not asking for an increase in salary to be able to do it? You already have the funds available?
Correct.
Okay.
Will you still have the opening?
So I have filled the entry-level position, but I do need to move workloads around to cover the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, again, this is a whole new, for Lindsay, it's a whole new workload, and for Christina, it's a whole new workload. Crystal will take additional responsibilities, number 1 being more court clerk time.
So for the new guy on the court, you said you knew it was past time. So we have a cutoff on promotions? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
On raises.
Or
On
raises?
raises, yes. I understand that's the beginning of June, but this didn't occur until the middle of June, so.
When did your chief leave departments?
She left the middle of June, June 15th.
Middle of June,
I
okay.
believe.
And that position was making 54,752,
Yes, sir, I believe that's correct.
and what other position are you bumping up?
So Christina Puentes is our newest employee, and she has been learning the systems, e-file. She's been just learning what our office does, and I want to give her a permanent job load. And so she would step into the job duties that Lindsay is currently doing and fulfill those responsibilities.
Okay, and what was the 3rd move?
Crystal Bogan, she is currently a criminal clerk, but as I said, she will take on more responsibilities, increased. She'll handle the probation dispositions and do the CJIS reporting for that. And again, more court time.
So Crystal's was already making more than Lindsay by, where's Lindsay? There she is, 47. $1,500 more. Why did you promote Lindsay that's making less money than Crystal that was making more money? I would have thought having more money, she'd have been in a higher position.
Lindsay wanted the position.
Crystal didn't?
Crystal's happy with what she's doing.
Okay. So what are you suggesting Lindsay's pay be since she's going to be training? I don't think we'd want to raise her to the salary that position was holding with an experienced person. So
Correct.
what were you thinking about?
So, as you said, she's currently making 47. I'd like to bump her to 52. She has worked closely with Lori and has some knowledge of what those job duties entail. And she will also be the main court clerk for the 196.
Okay, and then what were you thinking about with Crystal then?
Crystal just given her a small bump for the additional job responsibilities that she'll be taking over.
What do you call small?
2,000, bumping her from 49 to 51.
Okay. And then Krista is a new person moving up, and she's making 42.
Yes,
So what were you suggesting there?
bumping her to 45. She'll be handling the civil related to criminal cases, the expunctions and non-disclosures, and she'll be the appeals clerk, and we'll also train her to be a court backup.
Commissioners? Mark, you got any questions? David?
And Chris, sorry, just to make sure I'm reading it correctly. Christina, she's been working with you since, oops, look at the wrong page.
A little over a month.
A little over a
Yeah.
month. All right, so a month in, you're comfortable modifying her assignment?
Yes, I
like
am.
that?
She's attention to detail. Yes, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, thank you.
Sandy, can I pile on to Mark's question? Somebody employed June 2nd, so basically 40 days, 45 days in the job. Is it typical that we would give something? Usually there's a 90-day window with an employee.
90 days, but if she's taking on more responsibility, she's come in and showed that she deserves that,
Yeah.
then I would agree with it.
I'd probably,
She should have started higher than that.
say that again?
She probably should have started higher than 42 to begin with. She did come in with skills.
Okay.
I think the
And I have
only
one more
thing, if we
question,
wait-
actually.
If we wait that 90 days, and I agree with you, 90 days, and that's when the insurance and everything kicks in, and that's when we find out if they like us and we like them by that 90 days.
Right.
I think the only thing difference is obviously we've been pretty vocal about going forward, doing raises. And, you know, it's gonna get right down to the end of the budget time if she waited till then to come in and try to do a raise. I'm not saying yes or no to it, I'm just
Yeah,
trying to find justification to it.
When we,
Susan, just to clarify, are these requested for the new budget year beginning October 1st?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Would these, if we raise these up, is this plus the COLA? Like if we get a 3%, 2%, whatever raise, are you asking for that to be added to it as well?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Yes, that's what she was asking, to go ahead, but not do the raises now, that would not go into effect until October 1st, but already have it in there, and then along with the COLA that everybody,
So these numbers aren't actual, they'll go up another
whatever.
3% or whatever. Pretty substantial amount jump on them.
any other questions? Thank you, Susan.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you.
You bet.
Thanks for coming.
Well, Commissioners, we've got several of these floating around that are a request that Some have been presented to us already. Mark has now requested 2 in his revised budget, 2 raises for 2 of his people. They were small, one 500 and 1,500. And then we got a situation in the health department where we've been advertising for a job for months. Sandy, is that right? Yeah, months for a food service inspector, and not getting anybody qualified. Now, the food inspectors, their license, they have to have a college degree and they have to have 30 hours of science in that college degree to be qualified to become licensed to do the inspections. Of course, Rodney has that designation. Brittany has that designation. And Joshua does not, and he can't. He didn't. He has no college degree, so he can't apply to do that. So, you know, and he asked for, of course, you know, Rodney's taken over the position as department head, and he says, I spend all my time doing food inspections because we're short-handed. Brittany helps him, and Brittany does her septic also. In his budget, in his presentation, he requested another, 2 positions. I don't think Brittany really wants to do the job. I'll have to get that confirmed, but I think she likes the outside and likes the septic. But if we can't hire somebody at the pay we're making, we're gonna have to do something. We're gonna have to raise it or something. But if we do, then we're stepping on our own feet with what we're doing, trying to do with everybody else. But I mean, we got. Well, I think Rodney said over 500 restaurants, wasn't it, twice a year? And that's a lot of inspections. Mm-hmm. And it's one person can't do it. And we're still real busy with the septic, so we got that challenge. Then we've got a request from veterans for a raise for 2 of them, $3,000 apiece for department head and the person right under him. And I don't know that either one of them had a raise in a long time other than the cost of living. I don't remember. Steve, you remember one?
I don't. Do they have the money in the budget for that, or are they asking for additional
No, they're asking for
funds?
additional. That's what I'm saying. So we got a bunch of these, that, and then we had, the jail. I think we approved the one in the jail where they were moving one up to another position and then doing away with the detention officer and adding another lieutenant or sergeant. Yeah, sergeant in the jail. So that was not a big cost factor, and we're eliminating a position. So, and they needed the supervision. So that one, I think we've already made that change in the book, which I think we voted on that day. All agreed to that. But then we got of course, we got Homeland Security that asked for 3 increases to the same as the Sheriff's Department, since they had the same titles, same certification, same everything that the Sheriff's Office people. They just wanted to match the salaries for those same titles. Of course, the DA had a request for 2 new positions and a raise. And Sheriff's asking for 5 new positions. So we gonna keep kicking the can, or we want to try to make some decisions today, or wait till we get it all in and then come back and address it before the budget's approved?
So, Judge, just want to make sure I'm understanding. So all of the items you listed, because, you know, when there's one or two, it doesn't seem like a lot, and then, of course, they add up, right?
Right.
But are they all being asked to happen now,
No, no. in the
before the,
No,
this would,
it won't go into effect till October 1. They're asking for next year.
but it would be this amount plus
Of
whatever
COLA,
percent,
yeah.
whatever percent we do,
That's what they're asking for.
yeah.
You know, it's one thing if they have some funds in their account to be able to cover some of this. I still think that, you know, on some of these requests, I think we need to put it back on that department head or elected official if they're wanting, you know, additional resources or something like that to try to come up with cutting their budget here or there to try to fund some of this and help us out. We all know we're gonna be limited on funds this year on what we can do. And I think we're all kind of on the same page about the deficit that we're carrying over as well. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, it's, you know, like what I was trying to explain, it's multiple issues going on. I mean, we got one department or two departments that need additional people, being Health Department, Environmental, and the Sheriff. Some of the other, to me, those are most pressing because we got law enforcement and then public safety involved in both of those. We have to inspect every restaurant in the county except those in the city of Greenville. That's a lot of restaurants they're covering. And of course, he's going to bring us some fees back in to increase because we don't charge currently for going back if they don't pass, and then we have to go back. On some things we do, we have a small fee to go back. Some we don't. He's looking at other entities, cities and counties and all to see what they're charging, and I think some we're well below and some we're either even or maybe a little ahead of. So he's trying to get that. Maybe we could adopt that, and to your point, Steve, that would help some, but it's not going to cover. It's not going to be enough to cover, you know, those kind of increases.
Yeah, but for like the health department, it's hard to create a new position when we can't fill the one we've got right now.
Well, exactly.
So, you know, if we get that position filled and rock along for a little bit, let's see how it goes. And if they need another position after that, then there's a justification to be able to do it. I mean, obviously, we all know we've got to have the help in there to be able to do these inspections, but it's hard to create a new position when we can't fill the one we've got right now.
Do we know what the salary is that we're offering on the one that's open right now?
62, I think.
63,590.
63.5. Yeah.
It's an entry level kind of role, so you have a degree and I mean, that's not-
License, yeah.
and a license.
Yeah.
I personally think we should raise it a little bit to possibly get, because we can't find anybody for that.
We get a lot of applicants, they just can't qualify to get the license and don't have it.
I know there was one, is she from the university, David? Whenever David and I worked on the director for the health department, we had one that came and put for it. That was her whole background, was doing food inspections and all that for City of Garland and somewhere else. After Rodney was moved up to director, we reached back out to her to see if she was interested in the job. She said that's what she loves to do. She wasn't willing to come on for that price at the time.
What was the price?
63,500.
Yeah.
That's what she needed?
But what would she have come
She
for?
wouldn't
What
come
did she
for that.
Did you say what she'd come for?
I didn't talk to her.
I'm just
on
curious
that.
how
She just
far
said
off
she
we
wouldn't
are.
come for that
Are we $3,000 off or 10 grand off? I'm
Yeah.
just, yeah, 20?
Probably.
Sandy, Judge, maybe we ask Sandy to talk with the health department and kind of recommend to us a number for that position, so we can get that filled.
Well, it's not just that position, to me, Mark, because if we got one that's in that department that has that license, but it's not doing that all the time, I don't think it'd be fair to leave her if we raised a new person up. It'd be fair if I think we'd have to match it with her.
Well, but kind of like what Mark's saying, should we try to go out real quick and get some price comparisons on
Oh,
what
yeah,
other
that's fine,
departments are
but-
paying
Yeah,
for it?
But
If we need to
it can't be
raise
just
them
for
up.
that position. It's gonna have to
Yeah.
be the department.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that may
that's
very
not
well
fair.
be, but we need a baseline for what we
Yeah.
need to go for. And Judge, to go back to your earlier question, I like to see all the budgets entered so we can kind of have bottom line overall numbers to work backwards from. But for me, prioritizing the new deputy hires is a big important deal. No, we're hurting bad for deputies. And I looked, and the sheriff has reported to us, and this report we have here confirms they don't have a lot of openings there. So they're keeping those positions filled. So I'd certainly want to see us prioritizing the law enforcement.
Yeah, we finally got those pay grades to where people will work for it. In the jail and the deputies and all.
Chief, you got something to say?
I'd like to, sir. Buddy Oxford, Chief Deputy, Hunt County. We presented that budget to y'all, and the request that we presented was for, I'm talking about the new positions. We asked for 7 new positions, and the sheriff went down to 5. But all those figures that we put on that line item budget is impacted with 7. If we could have some guidance on what we're looking at, we can go back through that budget, and like Mr. Harrison suggested, we can find some money, but we don't know what to find. So if you can give us not a commitment, but a suggestion that you'd consider, we could go back and look through our budget and cut down all the other excess money in the different line items that could help the budget.
So pick up the bodies and look at lowering overall cost.
I mean, if you're gonna give us all 7, the budget would stay where it's at. But if you're considering 6, 5, 4, 3, whatever y'all can consider anything. If you're not considering any new employees, let us know and we can take all those other expenses out completely.
Oh, it's the associated expenses that are scattered.
Yes,
Okay,
I mean, it's
gotcha.
like an employee has to have a car, has to have body armor, has to have weapon, I mean, all those side expenses. But that would benefit us greatly. We've been coming for the last, we've come to all the special sessions, but I never felt like we had a good feeling on what we could cut or what we need to cut, not knowing what y'all are considering. So any guidance that y'all can give us, any suggestions would be helpful for us to come up with a budget request adjustments.
Remind me again, buddy, what, was it 4 deputies and an investigator or something? I can't remember what. Okay.
So 3 don't help you much, or?
It puts us short again. We're just we've got to get them shifts up to even, at least a decent minimum.
I would like, I mean, I know the budget's tight this year, but I'd like to see us work real hard and diligent to get them at least 5 people up there, because these deputies, I know coming over in my area, precinct 2, a lot of constituents over there, they're like, man, it's 45-minute response time or so, and I explained to them that's because the deputy's probably over, maybe in Commerce, and he has to come all the way over here, and we just don't have the people to cover it, so.
It's a safety factor too. I mean, you got to understand that deputy that's coming is one.
Yeah.
If it takes him that long, where's his backup? Now we're getting places that is coming across with liquor permits that's out in the county. We've got several things that we're having to cover that's a one-man operation covering a large group of people. And it is dangerous not only to the deputy, but the public is not, they're not getting the service because they've got one guy running to them.
Right.
So we just need, like I said, we started out asking for 7, and then we thought, okay, well, we can get down to 1 per shift and an investigator, then that's a go. And we'd appreciate the thought on that.
Buddy, I apologize if I'm misremembering, or Sheriff, you may know this, but I think when y'all presented for those 5 positions, there was some discussion about maybe being able to use SB 22 money, not for those positions, but to cover some other parts of the budget. Were y'all able to go back and see if that would be feasible?
That's correct. If we knew the SB 22 funds, it could go with safety equipment or vehicles. But we don't know which one we need to get. We don't know which one we can commit to today because we don't know how much we're looking at.
So if we get a commitment, you get a commitment or at least a direction from us that, hey, we really want to do, for instance, 5 positions, does that give you the information you need to go look at how much of the equipment and safety gear and such associated with those positions can be covered?
Yes,
Okay.
Well, I think the easy way to do it is, if we're gonna commit to 5, for us to know some bottom numbers, just take 500,000 out of his expenses. Is it 300 or 500,000 y'all get?
500,000 for
500,
the
yeah.
SO.
So we could just subtract 500 out of his expenses, and that would get us close to what you would be taking out of it. If you're gonna spend the money out of the SB 22 money. So we know what he's asking, total request now. We just subtract 500, and that would go to the SB 22.
Do you have money left over for this year?
He's got encumbered money, I think, left.
I have money from this year's, yes.
Will you use that for manning, or you still have to buy equipment?
I didn't hear your question, Mary.
Is it, do you have to buy equipment with this now, or can you apply that to manning?
No, there's no
We-
man.
I can't spend it on a new position. I don't want to spend it on a new position
Okay.
and obligate the county for that position if in fact Senate Bill 22 goes away.
I thought on SB 22 for y'all, it just gave raises to the deputies and to the sheriff over a certain amount, to get them to a certain amount. And
Yes.
then there was no more, and we're already over those limits.
Correct.
So we can't use it for salaries.
Okay.
I believe that's my memory. Is the sheriff, you could use it to pay the sheriff 75,000 or the deputies 50 or something. And whatever they're making, you could use SB 22 to bring it up to that. But ours are all making more than that.
Yes, they have.
Yeah. Isn't that right, Sheriff?
Yes, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
better to use, SB money to buy body armor, cameras, something like that. than
Cars,
position.
yeah,
Cars.
yeah. Yep.
So I think last time we were looking, if we did 5, it was gonna be roughly somewhere around just shy of $1 million. Just call it $1 million. So if we can use 500,000 of SB money, then we would just be looking at the county having to cover the 500,000,
Correct.
right?
Round numbers.
Round numbers.
Ballpark numbers, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not here to ask for a commitment, just guidance on
Yeah.
how we can adjust our budget to better suit the county's needs.
Well, we appreciate that, buddy, and I think just taking the 500 out for now, it's probably gonna be what we can look at.
All right, thank you.
And then once we make a decision, then we can go figure out where you're gonna take it out of.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Any other comments, suggestions on that? All right, no action today on any of those positions. That's fine, okay. Next thing I got is the Senior Center Resource has requested an increase. They came in 90 days ago or something, and we gave them 19,000 for milk, I think it was, to get them through their budget year, which I think was their budget year into August, I think. I think they're on a September 1st schedule. But they have still, they've lost a lot of the federal funding and state funding. And last year, I think we funded $54,000 in our budget for them. And that was, I think, for transportation. Or I think it was just for transportation or food, either one. And they're requesting $65,859 for transportation and the same amount for food. So their request is $131,388, looks like, which is about a $80,000 increase. Let me get that. Did we say that was in general administration, or is that in public? Anybody remember? It was, what's the general administration, what's the COG aging contribution? Is that something else?
Yes.
Okay.
Which organization was that, Judge?
Which one?
Script? Yeah,
Script,
okay.
yeah. We have budgeted this year 59.6 for them. So that's about a $70,000 increase.
And they don't have any other alternate sources? I know they lost funding, but there's no other
They're trying to
avenues?
do some fundraisers, and they're out trying to find other monies, so they can, keep doing what they're, supposed to be doing. But, I hope, I think there's a lot of push in Washington, I know, to free up some money back to some of these organizations that got taken away, and some of the new budget, I think, that was put together, or somehow some of the departments that were cut out of some of the money for these type of services. And I know they're reactivating some of that money, but they haven't done it for any of this that I know of yet.
I think you said it was 54 is what was budgeted last year?
No, it's 59. I did
59?
first, but I was looking at their paper. I thought that's what it was. It was 59.6.
Does that include the 19 that we added to them?
No,
No.
that was our budgeted amount
Okay.
last year.
Okay.
And I assume we paid that out totally, or we pay it monthly, or?
We pay them a monthly allotment, and then we also give them the money for the milk out of that same line item.
Okay.
All at one time, Aubrey, on the milk?
So they get monthly their allotment, and then the milk was a.
One-time?
One-time
Okay.
payment when it went through school.
Okay.
I think it's a tough year to jump like that, as we're trying to pay for new deputies to cover the county and keep everybody safe.
We're going to kick old people like me to the curb?
No, sir, not at all.
Since I'm the only old one up here?
They're in a tough spot for sure, so I understand why they're asking.
So that would be a $53,718 bump is what it would be. Because if you had the 59 and 19, 78, take 78 out of the 131,718, leaves 53,718.
Is that all right with everybody?
What, jumping up to that high?
No, he said to add the 19 to the 59 and,
Oh, okay.
and make
That's
it.
what we gave from.
That's what you were saying, wasn't it, David? I understand you're right.
That's what we ended up giving them this year was 78,000.
Were you
total.
suggesting we do that for this next year? Is that what I thought you said?
No, I was just saying that,
Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
they were asking for, do you say they're asking for 131,718 is what they're asking for?
It's 131,718, I think is what they're saying down here in the print. But up at the top, they got 131,388, so I'm not sure.
So if you take, just say 131 and you take the 78 that they're asking for, and we take 78 out of what we paid this year, that'd be an increase of 53,000 roughly. More than what we give this year.
Yep.
Well, I'm definitely supportive of the cause. The problem is, where do you stop at?
Yeah.
You know, which organization do you end up saying no to? You say no to all, yes to all, you know, you can't say yes to all because they'd all have a similar
They all got
request.
problems.
Yeah.
They're all still struggling. COVID has done a lot of damage to the public. We still got more juvenile issues over COVID, and we had more crime. Some of it because of COVID. We got too many people on, you know, that didn't go back to work or whatever, that has really hurt our nonprofits. I know Child Advocacy and CASA, I think they're having record numbers of clients they're seeing, and it's awful. I hate that.
You know, what if we kind of look at and try to split the difference of what they're asking for? I mean, I know anything will help them out, but that's a pretty big jump for us when we've already said we're going to try to toe the line the best we can on this year's budget.
Plus, there is a potential that some of those federal funds will come back, and there's, of course, no guarantee, but
Right.
hopefully things have settled down up in Washington enough that they can come back around to some of those things.
Judge, I almost put it, you know, I always use the terms need, want, and desire. You know, from a county perspective, it's not a need. The question is it a want or desire? As we go through and mature this, maybe it can be in one of those buckets, and, you know, as we mature, is there opportunity for it? Like say, when everything's looking like it's gonna be tight, there's probably not gonna be a lot of opportunity. But I don't think it.
We got a lot of demands and not a lot of money.
Right, right.
That's the-
You know, we have to take care of those things, you know, you're talking about, you know, with the sheriff, with the health department, and there's probably a handful of other things that we have to deal with. I think we have to deal with those first, and then say, this is status quo to last year until we see if there's opportunity.
Right.
I don't know if anybody would agree with that.
Well, like I said, it's put us in a bind because, you know, it's, it's just, our growth just consumes cash. No matter what business you're in, when you're growing, it just consumes cash. And unfortunately for us, I preach this all the time, that, you know, we really didn't have any money until 2020. I think 2020 was really the year that we started to grow with more people, and it started showing up with huge numbers. And, you know, we've tripled nearly. We went almost 15 years going up, you know, until the last year of the 18 year, our certified roll went up 50% higher than it had been 5 years prior to that. But 5 years prior to that, it hadn't changed but a few $100 million over a 10 or 15 year period of time. So there was not enough tax base, and wasn't enough, you know, money coming in, and we were behind in 2020 with air conditioners, cars, deferred maintenance, you name it. And we spent a lot of cash trying to get caught up to where we needed to be to start with, and we're still trying to keep up with the growth. And so it's a challenge. And so what do you do? Do you raise taxes a little bit to try to help compensate it, to help us get there? Do we hold the line that we're trying to, and then maybe not be able to provide all the services we need? Or do we start having deferred maintenance? You know, do we start going backwards? And then to me, the biggest concern I have is just what's happening in Texas right now. I mean, that flooding event's awful. Now, I'm not saying we'd ever have something like that, but we could have tornadoes, we could have wildfires, we could have a lot of major things, and if we're not prepared to handle them, we're letting the public down, you know. And it's our jobs, I think, to make sure we're protecting the public, because really all we do is we provide the services. We provide services, and that's all we do. And if we're not going to fund the services that's going to be required of us, then we're not doing our job, I think.
Well, and to your point, you know, we've already kind of talked about, you know, the hazard mitigation plan that we've got to tackle
Yeah.
too. You know, and the floods just opened that up even more for us to look at. You know, if the cities down there aren't part of the mitigation plan for that county, then they're not gonna be able to get, you know, federal money back to them. And, you know, we don't have a good number yet on what that's gonna cost, somewhere between $100,000-$200,000 on that mitigation plan.
Yep.
So, you know, we've got that, we've got to look into.
We have to
as
do
well.
that.
Yeah. And then, you know, we've been working with Terry and stuff in the city of Commerce on animal shelter stuff. And that's gonna change this budget year as well.
I know.
So there's some more fees that's gotta be added in there.
I know it.
And I know last night, Daniel, I sent you the email from AMR. It's not a whole lot, but, you know, the new contract for you to look over so we can get it to the court. But, they've come in with a new contract, starting in October.
Yeah.
Price has gone up some as well.
I was getting to that in a minute.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
We were just talking
I was
about
going- I
fees
just-
everywhere.
I
but
just grabbed it to look and see. I forgot
Yeah.
what the money, they're going up to 50-something thousand.
51,000, I
Is it
think.
51?
Which one's that?
Yeah, 51,640,
For fire service.
and it's from like 25,000.
Yeah. And they haven't, you know, we haven't given them an increase since 93 or. 8 years. Yeah. I mean, Virginia's sitting back there, you know, for $51,000, we can't even get a dispatcher, much less the equipment and all that, so we're getting a bargain from them, but my point is they're going up on their price as well, and we've got to be able to cover that.
Yeah, now we're paying
21.8.
21.8.
Yeah.
Yeah, 21.8. So that's just another one of those. I think that's on on the agenda for Tuesday, I think, to vote on.
That's right.
Yeah,
I haven't looked at it, but I send it by separately.
okay.
I think it's like 17 pages for
Yeah.
what I would assume to be a pretty simple contract, but that's what.
17 is pretty simple.
Lawyers charged by the letter.
page, by
Yeah,
the letter.
not by the letter.
Yeah. You know, and maybe we look at all these requests and try to get a number on that to see what we can kind of do from there, instead of, you know, agreeing to do script, agreeing to do this or that. I think we need a bigger picture of what all these requests are and a number figure on it. And to Gary's point, you know, wants, needs, and desires, I think we kind of have to look at it that way.
Well, just in your quick conversation, we talked about sheriff's department with deputies. That's a need, right? We talk about health department, right? We had that conversation this morning. I don't know what the exact number would be there, but if it's a body, it's probably going to be in the 70+ range now. We've got the mitigation plan at 250, and you've got AMR dispatch at 51. So, I mean, it's well over $1 million right there in need.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's more than that, actually, because you're taking out the 500 that it's coming from other funds.
Yeah.
Really, we're increasing spending that will be obligated to,
For
you know,
eternity.
from now on. I mean, it's not just a one-time deal, so.
Steve, I agree that, you know, when everything's entered and when we have kind of a preliminary budget, we'll be able to see the numbers and work backwards from there to prioritize that, because there'll be a lot of things that won't make the cut, but we'll do what we can to prioritize them.
Well,
Prioritize
you
the
know,
best we can.
we all have our own opinions, and, you know, I have to file to the public as soon as August 1st or before August 15th, but as soon as we can, it needs to be filed. I'm not real excited about filing a budget and then we go add to it after we've told the public this is the budget we're working with, and then we go add $1 million to it or $2 million to it. I'd rather us try to make up some. It doesn't have to be today, but we're shooting to, you know, we're 2 weeks away from the 1st of August, so we're getting to crunch time to have to start making some decisions and put it out there. We can always cut them back, and we don't have to do everything, but at least by next week, I think we need to start really firming up and say, let's put it in and look at it, we can always take it back out. I don't want to show it to the public and then go add money to it.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I agree. I think it'd be, if we're able to, and this may be, you know, Aubrey or somebody's question here is there a way that we can look at some of these requests so we can kind of see, you know, what all are the requests and what's the dollar amount attached to it?
Well, you know what all the requests are. I mean, we talked about all the requests. I don't have a line item sheet with the total. We can do that. But that's, you know, we're close. Probably next week we'll be ready probably to start printing if we got decisions made. We're real close. We just like a few budgets having them entered, and then if we make a decision today on what we're going to shoot for employee raises or not, you know, that's another one of those things. I don't want to wait until we get to budget time to make these decisions. We at least need to present them.
To me, the employee raises is like one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle. We should go ahead and decide that.
It's a need, yes.
Well, we know, I mean, we got the sheets, they were handed out to you, what the cost is would be for the 3%. And if you want to look, we can do some other numbers for Tuesday, I get, right? Yeah.
Do we have?
Is that a maybe?
Do we have a total of what it would cost us? I know it has individual on here, but we don't have the total
Well, you got a total on this sheet, on this. that's
on
handed out.
these that Sandy brought by.
Yeah, they got on the red line. There's one that's red, got a red line on it. That's the, and that's got 35,847.08. 30. Thank you. I'm not used to big numbers. 35,847,082. Then you got to add in salaries in the Exchange Building, and then at Road and Bridge, and then you got some money in the Health Department. You got to add in because they got grant money, but some of that is that just the grant money salaries, or is this the salaries and on? That's just the grant money, so that's
I
not.
got the wrong paper. Mine don't have the total on it.
Yeah, I don't have one total on it either. Not in my office anywhere.
This is the one you gave us this morning, or last night.
Well, Brittany had them and they have, I mean, I gave them to Brittany, but yours on your desk was that.
Is it this one?
No,
It's this one. That's the one.
I got the script. I just didn't have the other one. Oh, thank you.
Judge, when is the earliest we can have a preliminary budget with all the requests put into it? That'll produce all the total numbers for salary and budget so we can see the full picture.
like I said, we're
I'm
shooting for
sorry you
next
couldn't
week,
see
into
it,
next
Sandy.
week. We've got most of it ready to go. We just,
Alright.
you know, we're waiting on salaries and then waiting on some of these decisions before we go to print and then publish it. So we'll either have it or be real close into next week. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's key. When we have that, we'll have all the information we need to start making
But that's gonna be,
decisions.
that's gonna be, what we'll have in is what we've been agreeing with here, plus what they've requested is additional money on all of them. And some of that they've requested, I've granted, some of it I've marked. I mean, it's a few $1,000s, not anything big. Anything that's big, I bring it here. I don't just mark it down, but if somebody asks for $5,000, they've been spending $3,500 for 5 years, I mark it down to $4,000 or something. But I don't know, any big ones y'all know about.
So will we see the requested, or will we see your recommendation?
Both.
All right. I think that's the information we need right there.
I can start sending you everything that we've got entered today.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have salaries in it.
If I don't have salaries, I can enter the 3%.
Well, you can, if we get you this sheet, we can get you the rest of it, and then you add, because this has got all of the benefits in it. So if we get you this information, then you can add those numbers. You can add the 35 million or whatever it was I said it was, and then all those other line items.
Yeah, that's no problem. We can just,
Just do a
two
total.
numbers we'll just have to add
Right.
together, but
Right.
they'll be firm.
You won't have it for each individual department. But you can look here and see, you got each individual department. And this is with the raises in it. This is with 3% raise in.
Gotcha.
On the fourth column, it's got 103%, so it's 103% of last year's, is what these sheets represent.
So as far as what we put in.
But that doesn't have any new positions in it.
So
It's
as far
just
as
what's current.
As far as what we're talking about, you were talking about making decisions today. Can we all agree to load 3% in as a desired number? Like you say, based on the industry and things that I see out there, anything over 3% is going to be leading in many ways. And to your point, you don't want to present the public with something that would go up.
Yep.
And so try to make 3% in once, and I'll use Commissioner Hudson's disclaimer last time. These are budgetary numbers that we're trying to see what is and is not. It's not a guarantee that's what we do, but that's a good place that we'd go that would probably get us close, and most likely the only thing we'd do is go down. As far as not telling the public we need to
Yeah.
increase.
And I think you make a good point, and you made this point too, Judge. We're trying to get the kind of the top number, not because we're going for that top number, because then we can work backwards to make cuts from there, and based on the priorities we've discussed.
Okay.
I want to input again on, we talked about Homeland Security wanting to bump their pay up the same as the sheriff. I don't think we're comparing apples for apples in those two departments. My suggestion is that we don't bump that up and equal that out. That's my opinion. I'm just one guy.
So how is that, law enforcement guy,
Like our
how
rest of it,
do
we
you
haven't done-
assess that?
We haven't done anything yet.
I know Terry's sitting back there and he can kind of voice as well. I don't think it's right to say we're comparing apples to apples or we're not. Unless we really know what the sheriff's office and those employees do versus what, the Homeland Fire Marshal's office do. To be able to be in the fire marshal's office, not only do you have to have a peace officer license, but you also have to have a fire investigator license and keep it up. So no, we're not comparing apples to apples with that. And yes, the sheriff's office messes with a lot more individuals than probably what the fire marshal's office does, but they're still on call. They still have to go out in the middle of the night sometimes and stuff like that. So I just don't think it's right to say we're comparing apples to apples or we're not.
Well, and I think most, if not all of the requested raises, they all have, not only all their licenses, they're all got college degrees, I believe.
Yeah, and then
And
the other side of
not-
it is you've got two or three employees that work there that's not even taking advantage of the county's insurance plan too.
Right.
They're using their state insurance plan to help them out. So that's saving us money as well. So
Yeah.
I think we have to look at the big picture and not try to compare apples to apples that way on job description.
Judge, I'm inclined to agree with David, kind of leaning that direction as far as that specific request. But I think if we just get everything that is requested loaded into a preliminary budget along with your recommendation, then we can view every request fairly and make decisions based on that. But it was a big request.
So, are you saying you want me to enter all these requests into the spreadsheet before she enters them? I mean,
I think what the judge and I were just talking about was, you've already run the numbers on the 3% and,
These changes are not in.
and then we'll take the requested budgets and add those two numbers together, the difference between current salary plus the newly requested ones.
Okay, but don't put,
No, I'm not requesting that.
So we can input and get all of the requested expenditures, and then on the salaries, we've got the current employees here. Then we can make on a separate sheet that, or have all the requests on. Yeah, she can put it in as requested, and outside of that, then we can add it together instead of getting it in and then having to go back and take a chance on not getting in the budget. But we can do it that way pretty easy.
I think it's easier to add them together than try and untangle them.
Yeah. That's where I was headed. Yeah, I agree. Everybody in agreement on that?
Yeah, no issues.
Sure.
On the budget itself that you're still reviewing to put in for the requested, when will all of the numbers be put into INCO so we can see the bottom line number? Right now, I'm only seeing maybe half of the budget items in there. So some of them are zero type accounts, but when can I look at INCO for audit purposes and find a bottom line value?
That's what we're trying to say by the end of next week.
Next week?
so
Okay.
every requested, or department requested sheet that we've received has been entered.
Right.
Everything, same as proposed, anything that has been
Yeah.
proposed, approved by you, Judge. or
Right.
before, has been entered as well.
Right.
So.
We only got like 4 departments or something. Yeah.
Of departments that we're still missing.
Right.
Stan, which would be the sheriff's office proposed is missing,
Health department, we're still,
health
ma-
department.
yeah.
Purchasing is another one.
We got it now. We did it yesterday. It's just not input.
Sorry,
Voters, yeah.
Yes, voters is the one.
Well, there's some big dollars still missing, because I've been monitoring it, and.
Well, you don't have the sheriffs or the jail. That's the two
No,
big
I
ones.
mean, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's,
Yeah.
I can't even formulate where we are with the data that's in the system currently. None of us have seen the requested sheets. There's nothing for me to even start to calculate where we are, and it hasn't been audited at this point.
When we get back to the office, we'll see what's being run to verify that, because everything has been entered. So,
All the requested information.
Yeah. So it sounds like a sit down between departments needs to take place. Everybody can see what's done and agree on what's not done. I think that's, needs to happen.
Yep. And Buddy, question, you can just nod or say yay. So what you've got in there is for 7 deputies now. So we know taking 5 off of it, it gets the SB money out of it, but that's not gonna be all of it because you're now asking for 5 and not 7, so there'll be a little bit more money than that coming out of y'all's budget probably.
As I understand your request, you asked me to take 500,000 out of our proposal.
Once we decide what we're gonna do, I don't want you to do it now, because we're gonna take 500,000 out for SB 22, assuming we're gonna give you the 5 positions. And if we do that, but since you had 7 positions in there, would it be safe to say we could probably take out 600,000 off the top of yours and be close to being maybe where you have your budget, your new budget?
If that's the guidance you're giving me, it'll happen.
Okay.
But one thing another proposal, if we are asking for 5 positions, you could give us half years at a time, April. If we get 3 positions, 4 positions in October, we'll get the other in April. That's a half a year of savings of the money that y'all could have on the employees'
It's gonna
benefits.
take you a while to hire them too.
Correct.
And find them.
Correct. But, so that's another proposal that we could, or another suggestion on trying to get the budget worked out.
Yeah.
So I
I
appreciate
like
that.
that, yeah.
I like the suggestion. The only question I would have for the sheriff is, but you're trying to get shift balance and support out. In doing that approach, which definitely is a good financial approach, does that not eliminate your problem?
Well, like I said, the problem is, and I'm gonna say it, June to June, 49,000 calls. That's what we're taking. 49,000 calls. Do the math with covering that with 4 or 5 men, 900 square miles. I mean, it's just, I've gotta have it. It's a public safety deal, and and another thing we gotta look at, we're running 339 beds in the jail. We're running 330 to 340 people in it. If we have to outreach, we're trying our best. If we have to outreach, that is $100 a person a day. So we've got to figure some things out, but we've got to have the safety and the people, and that's just, I mean, and to do that, we have to pay them too, okay? I don't want, you cannot put a person out here, a half grade, that just get by type individual that we're gonna hire. Because what happens then is there's mistakes made, there's life on the line, there's lawsuits, there's everything else, and we have to look at all that. So we have to have the best caliber individual, we have to have the individuals, and we need it. There's nothing, I mean, I'm just saying, I know that's enforced, but we've just gotta have it.
Well, and we appreciate that, Sheriff. But for a question, buddy, I like what you said, but the reality is, I mean, you can't get a car October 1st. You know, when you get the budgetary authority, you can order it, but it's going to be 90 days probably. Are y'all going to go ahead and start trying to hire someone October 1st, and then you have enough vehicles for them today that you'd rotate, or would you have to wait to hire them until you get cars and equipment here?
I would rather have the employee committed to have the position to say, we're going to start this position October 1st or October 15th or something, and have the equipment then. But with that October 1st budget starting, it's hard to pre-order everything before October 1st.
That's my point.
And that's,
And to your point, you're not going to have a whole year of salaries for 5 people.
correct. And to answer Commissioner Smith, if you authorize that October the 1st, if that budget gets approved in September, I think that's the date, I assure you, we will not have those 4, 3, whatever positions, we will not have them filled by October 1st. And it just, in my opinion, it's impossible.
The budget will be approved sometime before October 1st, so, and so that'll allow you to begin the process and planning
Of
for.
advertising at least for people.
Advertising for positions and ordering vehicles and that sort of thing.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Okay. Did y'all hand out the retirement? Everybody, they did. Y'all got. This is the what we got back from the retirement system, and it's referring to cost of living for retirees. And if you look at the second page and about the third paragraph. Where it started, it's important to note that frequent adoption of COLAs can result in repeating COLA designation by the governmental accounting standards, GASB, and impact your organization's financials. And I think it goes on to say seems to make it more sense if you only do it every 3 years, you avoid the financial risk associated with GASB.
We did a raise last year, correct?
Correct. But somebody brought it up at one of the meetings, so we requested it to get the information. And this is what they sent us with the cost of it, and then with the backup information. It's my opinion, we need to pass on it. We don't need to do it ever get in the situation. Maybe
We'll
look,
get in a situation where we're doing it every year.
yeah, well, I mean, every 3, you know,
Yeah.
you say that if we do it again this year, we can't do one next year.
Right.
But if we don't win this year, then we can look at one again next year. You know, if we looked at trying to, you know, do it every other year, that, you know, that would be probably smarter, I think. Keeps us out of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, it costs us some additional money.
Well,
And
it
did
level
you-
loads it longer, right?
Do what?
It levels it longer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then, did we give them the other one for ours? Our rate dropped to
Not yet, and that'll go to report on
Tuesday, okay.
The new rate is going from 10.67 to 10.11%, so we will be saving money on this also.
And that's for what?
Our retirement.
Oh,
our
okay,
half
okay,
of what we
okay.
have to- That's
And-
for Tuesday, though.
That's, where the fund is in really good shape. You know, of course, they said, the law says we're supposed to have 100% funded, and we're at 91,
90.2.
90.2, yeah. And anything over 75 is really good, they say. So, because it scared me to death, because we carry it on our financials, or in the audit report when it comes out, and in our financials, that we're underfunded in our health by 11 million or whatever it is now. I think the first one I saw was like 11 million. It scared me to death. And I called them to come up, and they go, "Oh, no, Judge, y'all are in great, y'all are ahead of everybody. Y'all are in good shape. That's just what it is to get to 100%, and you have to report that."
But you're required by law to be at 100%?
Yeah.
But we're good at 91.
We're good at 80 or 75, they said, but we're great at 91. But we still got to keep paying it until we get to 100%, I guess. We keep inching it closer and closer. I think it's gone down 1% or 2 since I've been here. So,
Guess there's no penalty or anything like that for not being at the 100%, even though it says it's.
well, I
required
mean,
by law.
it's a silly law. I mean, because every employee we have we pay into it, and they don't ever get to the retirement level or earn a retirement here. So you're never going to have 100% of the people that you're saying you got right now that will retire. I think.
Just when you said that, I was wondering if the sheriff would let me get away with, Sheriff, I was 91% in accordance with the law. I was just,
You're still going to jail. Anyway, that's just for y'all's information, it's just a little, and we'll be voting on that on Tuesday. Daniel, you got anything?
No, nothing there.
Okay. Bernice, am I forgetting anything? My Brittany hadn't got back to me yet. I asked, the advisor that came last time, when he gave us the presentation in my office, I think I said I was asleep or wasn't thinking straight that day, because I didn't hear. I heard a lot more stuff, or understood a lot more of it in the court, but he made some statements to me about our current system, so I asked Brittany to get us some meetings with the funds we use now to make sure that what I heard, or think I heard at least, is not correct. Because what I heard him say is that they lowered our rate on a daily basis, but if they're invested in long-term treasury bonds, is that where they're making a spread, since they don't charge us a fee? The funds we're in now, there is no fee. So is that how they're, and if it is, then what he gave us is probably a really strong recommendation. We probably need to try that. But if I didn't understand it right, or if that's not what they do, then I need to know it. I don't know if anybody else heard it that way or not, but that's what I heard him say, that the big difference is, and how he could help us is because as the rate, he showed a chart showing the rate had gone down to whatever, 4.6 or 3 or something. And he said, that's all we're making on our money right now. And if it's floating down all the time, then I need to understand how they're investing our money better.
Yeah.
And it's for sure, when interest rate was zero and all, we were getting pretty much zero interest money. And if they're not invested in long-term bonds, it's making something. We should have been making something off of our money. They should have had our money in some long-term bonds. I would have thought they had in their portfolio as many millions as they got. They'd have some amount in 3-year treasuries, 5-year, 10-year, 30-year.
Unless we directed them.
Yeah,
That'd
well,
be
that's
it.
what he would do for us. That's what he was saying. He would direct our money into those things where we'd have constant interest. And we had a point in time where we didn't get any interest to speak of, very little. And so I'm concerned about the funds that we have them in. And I think I need to get one of them to come to court and explain how the funds we're in is paying us so we can make a decision on that. All right. If there's nothing else, I don't think I have anything else. No other questions?
Do we have and I know we were all over the place today, but we did kind of hit a few points of things we wanted to do. Should we summarize what those were? I mean, because I know we've got a meeting between Auditor and Bernice. That's one thing that has to happen.
Right.
I think we said load in initially at 3%.
Correct.
And we said we were going to take all the requests that people have made and load
For
those
new
in.
position.
For new.
But we're gonna put them in a separate spreadsheet instead of creating it and having to take it back out.
And then, was there anything else? Because we're getting to a point where we're trying to get something rolled together. I just want to make sure we're getting all the actions that we talked about. Was there anything else?
I think by next week, we'll have all the requests loaded, and we can kind of look at a preliminary full picture budget.
We'll have expenses, but we won't have revenues.
Right,
Right.
Because we won't have our tax rate.
Yeah.
We won't have,
Which is fair.
I think we're getting probably the end of next week. I think Brent had said the last hearing they had was like Wednesday of this week, and he said it'd take them a week or so to go through and clean up the records and proof it all, make sure they got it right, and then they'd be sending letters out with the certified rolls. So I anticipate getting it sometime next week. And then we're Bernice, did you get everything to the tax office yesterday, or you're doing it today? Yeah, okay. So they'll have the data they need from us to do the 10-page calculation for options and tax rates for us. So once we get all of that, then we can start, that's when we can really start looking at it, because we'll know our revenue. All right, nothing else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 10:14.